Listen, I'm easy to find. And then they can kiss my ass.
What's going on YouTube? Nathan back with another video presentation. Hope you're all well, having a great weekend so far. Hope you all had enjoyed it. Tomorrow's Monday. I cannot believe that. May is almost over. And we're going to be in June in about another, look at the calendar real quick. Looking at the weekend, a week and 4 days. Remember correctly? So I can't believe that. As you see the title, this is episode, I correctly, episode number. This is episode 6 of Big Nick Sports Talk. Before we get into it, there is something I wanted to say. In the Mystics preview, I should have clarified this in the last Mystic video, not this one, but the previous one. I mistakenly misspoken, stating that Kennedy Burke in the previous game before that had 6 points. That was incorrect. She had scored 10 points in her debut as a Washington Mystic. So I wanted to correct that. I do apologize. But we're going to get into, as you see the title, the NBA Mock Draft 1.0. The NBA Draft is the 23rd. It's a Thursday in June next month. And I said, why not? It's a good time to do it, to start the mock draft. My goal probably would be like the WNBA draft. Most likely you'll see 3 or 4 mock drafts. I like to see what happens after each team that didn't make the playoffs. Look at what needs to be adjusted. Even going into the offseason, who's going to be a free agent. We're doing just the lottery picks 1 through 14. The Orlando Magic were awarded the number 1 overall pick.
Congratulations! Oh my God.
Couple of things I did take into consideration. I considered best available player, but more importantly, I think what each of these 14 teams need. I have not considered trades yet. I do not believe. I don't right now. I'm not going to guarantee. For right now, I do not see a trade happening. I do see some free agent moves that I think will definitely have an impact on the draft. But NBA Mock Draft 1.0 is live. And with the number 1 overall pick, actually, hold on. With the number 1 overall pick, the Orlando Magic select Jabari Smith out of the University of Auburn. I like Jabari as a shooter. He stood out to me as a college big man. I think he can defend the ball well. He has the skills, the tools to be, I think, a good player in the NBA. I do think he needs to work on his handle, and he definitely needs to continue to perfect his shot creating. I think he likes to create shots. I'd like to see him more develop that. I can't see him in the NBA guarding 1 through 5. I can see him pretty much guarding the 3, 4, and the 5. He's 220 pounds, so he's slender. So I do think that on the block, there's going to be some that are going to have a hard time keeping up with his lateral quickness. Though I do feel like Orlando would be the best fit for him. The Orlando Magic, I feel like they have a good core, and I feel like he could definitely be the piece. Now, I argued that this next pick, these first 3 picks could be arguably the number 1 overall pick. But Jabari makes the most sense. I don't think they needed another. In my personal opinion, I don't believe they needed another guard. But I feel like he has the most upside, arguably, right now. Sean Spencer, what's good, bro? That is Jabari Smith. With the 2nd overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Chet Holmgren. Now, you can make a case and say he could be a number 1 overall pick as well. But Fun fact: Kevin Durant, Gary Payton were second overall picks in their drafts, respectively. I believe he will be a good fit in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's building through the draft. I mean, they have draft picks the next few years. Um, obviously you could tell they're building around Shea, Gilgeous-Alexander, and Josh Giddey. I definitely think that Chet Holmgren has an outside game that I think will help SGA's to attack the rim. And then you're looking at the other guy, LeDort. I think they could arguably be one of the best 1-2 punches in on the inside game. He's 7 foot tall. I mean, the only negative on Chet is his physicality, and how do you transition that into the NBA? That's the question. Because I mean, I think he can handle it. It's just he's going to need probably a couple years to develop, which is okay. But I think Oklahoma City will be a good fit for him. I think he fits their system well. With the third overall pick, the Houston Rockets select, this is your boy, Sean, out of that school of Duke, Paolo Banchero. I've said it. I feel like arguably he could be a number one. He's definitely a top 5 pick in my opinion. Arguably, like I said, he 1 and 2 or 3 one of these 3 guys could be number 1 overall pick. He would do well with Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green. He to me is all around. He's an all around talent. I think again he is for a guy his size. He can handle the ball. He can score in the post. He can hit Jays just from about anywhere on the floor, and his ability to make plays for others. I think those are the keys. I think you're going to like. That I think is good for Paolo, and also too, great defender. I feel like he is another arguably good coming out of Duke. As a freshman, he definitely has a great upside. And I'm looking at the Rockets. They're definitely building something. So why not? So I mean, these are my personal opinion. These are your top 3 picks. Arguably, either one of them could be the number 1 overall pick. But I'm comfortable saying that Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren, and Paolo Banchero are your number 1, 2, and 3rd overall pick. With the 4th overall pick, the Sacramento Kings, they select AJ Griffin. Now, a couple things I consider. Now, I looked at the backcourt. I think the backcourt's fine. I considered Jaden Ivory here. I considered I saw some guys take Shaden Sharp. I think they need to start working on some wing players. I definitely think for me, AJ, getting Davion Mitchell last year, now let's start working on the wing players. To me, he could be a good off-the-ball player, particularly a 3 and D. He would definitely complement those 2 on the wing. And then also, too, the key to building around – they're building around De'Aaron Fox. So you need to get as much around him as possible. And I feel like with his style of play as a 3 and D player, I think that the Sacramento Kings will like that. Now, I understand the injuries have been he has an injury history, but I don't think that should be a concern. I mean, I think he has shown that he is a reliable scorer, and again, he's another one. Give him a year or 2, develop to polish his skills. He'll be all right. With the 5th overall pick, the Detroit Pistons select Shaden Sharp. Now, this was tough. This was tough for me. He is my first point guard, first guard off the board. I considered Jaden Ivory. Only thing about Shaden Sharp, he has no college tape on him whatsoever. I'm pretty much going into this one blind. Went to Kentucky, but I've seen the high school tapes. He's 6'6". I think he's a tremendous offensive player. I think he has an interesting upside as a two guard. I do think that he's going to need some time. He's going to need a minute to develop his skills, particularly learning how to create a shot. I do think that he may have a slight advantage, but I mean, he was the number 3 ranked prospect last year. Um, but I mean, as a two guard, just the ability to get to the rim and finish, some team's going to value that. And I'm looking at the Pistons. You got Cade Cunningham. Those two would pair well in the backcourt for sure. So why not? Let's go to Indiana with the 6th overall pick. The Indiana Pacers select Jaden Ivey out of Purdue. Now, the Pacers, I'm a little confused where they're at in terms of what their vision is. I'm a fan of Rick Carlisle, trading Sabonis to Sacramento. Miles Turner obviously was out with injuries. You got Brogdon, those guys. Kind of need to figure out what the Pacers are going to do. Is this a starting step into a rebuild mode, or we're just going to just build around Miles Turner and Brogdon? Now, their backcourt is already kind of stacked, but I feel like they need more. Because I feel like I could. Indiana looks like a team that will go, we have to take him. Like, there is some weaknesses in his game in terms of as a shooting guard. I think he's better. I think he's a better defender. Now, don't get me wrong, he can shoot the ball. Now, I do feel like give him some time to develop his offense, he will be okay. On and off the ball, he'll make a big difference. Now, is Indiana that team? I mean, under Rick Carlisle, I believe yes. So, I mean, if you push me, I consider Keegan Murray here, Abaja out of Kansas. I can even consider Johnny Davis. But I feel like Jaden Ivey, I think will go here, in my opinion. With the 7th overall pick, the Portland Trail Blazers select Keegan Murray. Now, this was interesting. Two-way player. I do feel like at some point Portland's going to have to start developing some inside game, but more of an outside game. He shot under 40% from 3 during this past season at Iowa. I think he will do well alongside Damian Lillard and Simmons. My only concern with Keegan is a couple things. I just think, again, I see it's going to be a minute with these guys as they develop. But I think he'll adjust well. I mean, he's coming out of Iowa, okay? The last time you seen a first-round pick come out of Iowa, I believe it was 1998. I believe that was the draft. Let me see. They haven't had a player in the first round. Ricky Davis. He was a freshman. He was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets. That's who it was. So I'm not saying Keegan won't be a great player. I mean, I think he has all the tools, again, I think, to be quite effective. I mean, he can practically guard 1 through 5. His ability in the transition, he's quite effective. I think the Portland Trail Blazers would love that. With the 8th overall pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Osha Abaji, Kansas. This was another interesting pick. Now the Los Angeles Lakers had this pick, so another D3 player, and I definitely think New Orleans should start developing a couple wing players. I think he'll be a solid NBA prospect. I think he'll do well. From watching him this past Cleveland season, even last year, I have seen the growth in his game. He makes the most sense. I considered Johnny Davis here, Jeremy Sochan. I considered guys here, but I'm not going to ignore that he's a two-way player. He's versatile, and like to me, he's NBA ready. I feel like he can definitely do that for me. So I like this pick for the Pelicans. Now, with the 9th overall pick, the San Antonio Spurs, they select Jeremy Sochan. He's the next Tim Duncan. I could see that in a way. He loves shooting the J, and he's another one that can pretty much defend multiple positions. I do think the concern with Jeremy is that he shot an abysmal 30%, which I believe will get better under the tutelage and coaching of the great Greg Popovich and his coaching staff. Because at Baylor, that's what he shot. And I definitely think, as of right now, he's raw, but he definitely provides nice value, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. And again, San Antonio, they're developing their roster around DeJounte Murray. And I feel like this, to me, would be a good fit for him. I believe so. Now, with the 10th overall pick, where my Wizard fans at? You guys are going to love this pick. With the 10th overall pick, the Washington Wizards select Nikola Jokic. Now, I know what you're thinking, okay? Now, this is the first international prospect off my list. But just hear me out, okay? Now, a couple things I didn't take into consideration. Point guard, we definitely address the point guard. I did say if you watch the off-season video, what I need to do, what the Wizards should do in the offseason, figure out what the identity is. Commit Bradley Beal to stay. Someone like Thomas Bryant will have to walk because of injuries. And then more importantly, like, what's the draft looking like? Now, Nikola, excuse me. Let me back. Nikola, I feel like is to a guy that we need, that screams offense and also to defense. He just screams D3 play. He just screams Wizard like. I mean, he's shown that he is a capable. He has the capability of doing all that. I know they say he can play the 3, but I personally believe he could play the 4. And even might want to even play the 5. But the Wizards, knowing the Wizards, I feel like they could take someone like this, knowing them. So let's go to New York. With the 11th overall pick, the New York Knicks select Johnny Davis. I like Johnny. Johnny's a good guard. I think he'll do well. with the Knicks. Now, I'm sorry, he's really a guard slash forward, but he'll do well. Now, the only concern is his shooting. His shooting was not all that spectacular. I believe he shot under 31%, uh, which is for NBA scouts. You got to shoot the ball because this is a shoot for this is a league where you need to shoot the ball. Now, don't get me wrong. He can create his own shot. He can shoot the ball on defense. He is a good two-way guard that I think could definitely be beneficial for the Knicks. I mean, his ability to I can even see him really play more off guard, really than anything, because I mean, at Wisconsin, let's keep it real. They don't have their offense is not a modern basketball offense. Let's just keep it real. I mean, I feel like let's see what he looks like. I think you'll see more out of him, but I can see Johnny Davis being a New York Knick. Okay, we got 3 more picks, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to wrap it up for the night. With the 12th overall pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Ousmane Dieng. This is another one that I kind of feel like just screams Oklahoma City. My second international prospect coming off the list. Now, I think he'll actually do well. He's out of France. Now, I do know that he can definitely he can space the floor and he can drive to the rim. I do feel like he is very athletic and he has all the skills. Now, he will be 19, if I'm saying that correctly, when he gets drafted. So this is a development. It's definitely with Oklahoma City. He's definitely going to be at least a good 2 years to really develop. And Oklahoma, the Thunder are that team that can definitely loves to develop the prospects because they're not in any rush. To me, I think they're just building right now to the draft. And he just looks like a good fit in Oklahoma City. With the 13th overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets select Tari Eastman. This was tough. LSU, I also considered him going to Oklahoma City. I actually considered him going to San Antonio. But another one. Arguably, in my personal opinion, these 14 picks that I think are going to be these lottery picks that I think will be 1 through 14, they all have tremendous upside. Eason is a tremendous defender. I feel like he can definitely, on the perimeter, be a great defender. Which you want that, and especially in a power forward. And think about it. You're going to be alongside Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Like, that's not a bad front court. And on top of that, like he has a great offensive toolage. The average was like 17 points a game, if I'm saying that correctly, last year at LSU. So I definitely really think this would be a good fit for Cleveland. And I'm also looking at it too because Kevin Love's not getting any younger. So this is to me, not Cleveland, Charlotte. I apologize. Why did I talk about Cleveland? I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'm talking about this next pick. I'm sorry. But for Charlotte, let me focus. I think he will do well alongside Oubre, Miles Bridges. He will do well. I considered also to Elizabeth Williams' brother out of Duke, Mark Williams. But I definitely think with Tari, his offensive, he has a good offensive mindset that I think Charlotte will love. And again, on the perimeter, on the perimeter side, defensively, Charlotte will love that. They will. They will. Now, I apologize. I don't know why I said Cleveland. I apologize. But the next pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Malachi Branham. Now, it's another one I'm looking at. You're playing alongside Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. That is an interesting backcourt. I think he truly will fit. He'll gel well with those guys. My only concern is, will he play the 2 or will he play the 3? Because he played the 2 with Ohio State. And he can shoot the 3, but I'm looking more along. I don't really know where he'll fit. I can see him playing the 3 more. That's just me. But I think he'll do well in Cleveland because he shot the ball pretty well, particularly for the almost under 42%. It's not bad. So, I mean, he got Big Ten honors. I think he even got Freshman of the Year. No. Big Ten Freshman of the Year, excuse me. That was it. So, I mean, I can see that. I do apologize for the mix-up. I don't know why I said with Tori that's my apologies. That's my mix-up. I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. But that is 1 through 14 who I think will be drafted by each team respectively. If you pushed me after Sacramento pick, that's tough. Again, Jaden Ivey could be the first guard off the board. I actually could see that in reality. Nikola Jokic. I could see the Wizards drafting him. I could see that. Something just screamed like the Washington Wizards. The last few picks, which have actually panned out decently well. Now, I'm not going to lie. He just screams Washington Wizard to me. He does. And the Wizards need shooters, but more importantly, they need defenders. So I can see that. You let me know your thoughts. Who you think your 1 through 14 should be? Who you think the number 1 overall pick will be in this upcoming NBA draft? Or who are you looking forward to be in the first round? Because we only have 2 rounds and 60 picks. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, please like, comment, subscribe. I do apologize for that mix-up. Again, you will see part 2 tomorrow, 15 through 30. But until then, I'm signing off. Y'all have a good night. Let's have a good week, ladies and gentlemen. Stay up.
Listen, I'm easy to find.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.
And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.